What's up, everyone? Eli here, back for another CD collection video. We'll just kind of pick up where we left off last time, where we were talking about Emperor. Obviously, a very loved, band out of that early Norwegian black metal scene. I've been a longtime fan of Emperor. I've always just kind of gravitated towards that symphonic black metal sound. I still like it to this day. I still listen to Emperor pretty often, and I still love the 90s, just that 90s symphonic black metal sound. And anytime I can find a band that plays a style like that, I'm all over it. In the background, we're listening to Primordial's debut 1995 album, Imrama. It's called Primordial, from Ireland. I've mentioned them several times. One of my favorite bands. I'm actually planning, I don't know when I'll get around to it, but I'm planning on doing a video where I talk about all their albums, or at least all the albums that I own. So just kind of doing like a spot, a Primordial spotlight. And on the topic of Primordial, I just want to kind of make a plug again for Alan Averill is the singer from Primordial, and he's got a killer podcast here on YouTube. He's done, I think, 15 or 16 episodes now. I've listened to every single one at least once, and it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. You don't have to be a Primordial fan to appreciate it. His band is not the focal point of this podcast. It's just all sorts of stuff that he talks about. I've always liked Alan. I've always thought he always has interesting things to say. He's just he's a good writer, but he's also a good speaker. And as soon as he started his podcast, I knew it was going to be good, and it totally is. So definitely check that out. It is called Agitators Anonymous. I'll try to leave a link. I'm fucking horrible at leaving links. But yeah. Hopefully I'll get to that review or that video, I don't know, maybe within the next couple weeks. Maybe not, but I can never promise anything as far as this channel goes, but it's something I decided I really wanted to do. So, anyways, moving on to Emperor here. So last video, I pretty much stopped at their debut album. That's as far as we got. So obviously, we are going to come back. Oh man, I'm missing one. Son of a bitch. I am missing an album, I just noticed. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm missing Emperor's third album. I don't know where it is. We're going to move on. The show must go on. So, the sophomore Emperor album, probably my favorite. In the Nightside Eclipse is a classic, no doubt. And I do love it. Listen to it a lot. But I've always kind of been partial to anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. Maybe it's because I got it first. You've probably seen the artwork. It's very dark. It's hard to see. I'm not gonna get a really clear shot at it, but I don't know how many versions of this album exist, but this is the Century Black version. Remember Century Black? Cool stuff. So yeah, man, I've always been partial to this album. I just kind of. It's always been my favorite. To me, it's always been, and it's just my opinion, but it's always been slightly better than in the Nightside Eclipse. But that's just my opinion. I love Nightside, but so gonna have to skip their third album. I do own it. I think I have 2 copies of it too, so I don't know why. I don't know where the fuck it went. And we're gonna have to skip to Prometheus, the Discipline of Fire and Demise. This was their last studio album they ever did, and most likely ever will do. This came out in 2005. I don't know if this is an original pressing. I don't know. I really never paid all that much attention to this album. Honestly, I think it's all right. I don't hate it. It's definitely the Emperor album I listen to the least. I don't hate it. I really don't. Sorry. It's a cool looking, kind of embossed CD, but it's not showing up well on camera. I don't know. You guys probably heard this. This is a very proggy album. It's very prog metal. If you listen to Ihsahn's like solo stuff, you could definitely tell yeah. If you haven't heard this album and if you've heard his solo stuff, this is kind of like the missing link. This is kind of, I mean, it's the link between Old Emperor and like his, Isan solo stuff. Isan wrote this entire album. Emperor weren't much of a band at this point. So I mean, Isan did almost everything on this. Samoth played some guitar. Trim played the drums. Isan wrote the entire thing. So I mean, it's basically an Isan solo album, anyways. And if you're gonna call it an Isan solo album, it's probably the best solo album he ever did. No offense to the guy. I think his solo stuff's all right. I'm not super into it, but yeah. Like I said, I think it's an all right album. It's a prog metal album almost all the way. There's definitely some Emperor signature sounds in there. I mean, it sounds like Emperor, but it sounds like Emperor going in a direction that maybe most people probably didn't want them to go in. But I mean, they would change with every album. Even with their third album, the one before this, that one for me, I like it all right, but for me, it's almost too over the top at times. I got to be in a special kind of mood. I used to really like it, to be honest. That actually used to be one of my favorite Emperor albums, but these days I reach for it less and less, with every year. I love Emperor. I like everything they ever did, but, these days, now that I'm a little older, I gravitate towards their first two albums and, the early demo stuff and EP and all that. It's rare that I go any beyond that, but occasionally, just for kind of, nostalgic purposes, I'll do it. So I've also had this forever and ever, or at least, since it came out in 2003. This is the Scattered Ashes, A Decade of Imperial Wrath, 2 CD compilation. Pretty cool. I mean, it's a compilation. What can I say? It's got stuff. It's 2 discs. It's pretty cool. It's got stuff that they did. It kind of spans their entire career. It's got a couple, pretty much pointless remixes. A couple of their songs, remixed by the guys in older. Why they needed to do that, I don't know. They're kind of cool, I guess, for what they are. They're like basically industrial sounding Emperor songs. Let me go fix this lighting here. Sorry. I've been having lighting issues in this room, and it's been fucking pissing me off. I need to get an electrician over or something, but anyway, pretty cool booklet, I guess you could say. Got some cool pictures, kind of, spanning Emperor throughout their career. Starting with the end, obviously, and going backwards. So it's definitely a cool booklet. So I mean, if you're not super familiar with Emperor, I find that kind of strange. But I guess this would be something you might want to pick up. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why you would need it, but whatever. All right, and last, at least for this video, since I couldn't find that other album, we got it's a pretty cool live album, actually. Live Inferno. Slip cover here, slipcase. It's got 2 discs. It's 2 separate live shows, actually. It's disc 1 is Inferno Festival, and disc 2 is Wacken Open Air. Both are, pretty long live sets. And these are good live albums, man. I wish I could remember when they were recorded and all that. They're not old. I mean, these are like modern Emperor live gigs, basically. Emperor they're not a band anymore. They're not, Isan, I truly believe Isan will never bring Emperor back. Surely he gets probably bugged about it at least fucking once a month, offers from record labels and stuff like that. But I honestly, I truly believe, there were a lot of bands that we didn't think would come back. And some of them did. But I don't think Emperor will. I mean, there are countless. I'm sure he's tired of talking about it. I mean, he's agreed to to kind of reunite the band for festivals and stuff like that and live shows, and go for it. It's a nice paycheck. but I don't think he wants. Well, I know for a fact he does not at all want to reunite Emperor. Goddamn lighting. He stated many times in interviews, he's like, I'm not even, I'm not the same person I was, back when we were doing Emperor. I don't, it wouldn't sound, he said basically, God damn it, he said if Emperor were to come back, he said it would probably just sound like his fucking his solo material. He doesn't have a connection to black metal anymore, and it'd be pointless to bring a half-assed version of Emperor back. So it's probably not going to happen. But these are good live albums. Cool booklet. Would have been cool to see. Good stuff, man. I like it. I've listened to them a couple times. So that's all I got for Emperor. Next, I got a couple from. I've shown a couple tapes from this band here, and I really like this. Probably one of my favorite black metal bands out of Spain. We got Empty, with a source of hollow essence. This came out in, I don't remember when it came out. It came out on Blackened Moon Productions, which was a record label out of Michigan. Not active anymore, but put out a couple cool things. I don't know, early mid 2000s, just kind of no frills black metal. I think they're Empty are kind of, for me, like a perfect version of that type of black metal. No frills, no symphonic, bombast. Not super raw lo-fi, but just kind of a standard production. Straight for the throat, no frills black metal. But they do it perfectly, I think. So I've had that album quite a long time, probably since it came out. This I got in a trade, I don't know, a couple years back. I haven't spent as much time with this, but it's everything I've heard from Empty is pretty stellar, actually. This is the De Tenebram Principio promo copy. It's in a cardboard sleeve that's about to disintegrate, but the CD still plays perfectly. So, like I said, I've spent a lot less time with that, but I think it's pretty killer. Probably as good as A Source of Hollow Essence. I do tend to kind of reach for this one more often, probably just because I've had it a lot longer, but who knows. And what else do we got here? Okay, a couple more bands. We got out of Portland, Oregon, we have Pat. You'll appreciate this one. I know you like this album a lot. I don't know why I'm assuming you're going to watch this video, but if you do, you'll appreciate this. Got the debut Engorged album. This came out on Necropolis Records back in... When did this come out? I don't know. I can't read that. Early 2000s. Some really cool artwork. If you look close, you'll see all kinds of 80s references. If you want to look again, see what you can pick out of there. And that's basically what this band does. Lyric-wise, there's fucking songs about like G.I. Joe and stuff like that. It's just a really fun. They got that like Razorback sound, down to a T. I think a lot of the guys in Gorge, if I remember correctly, played in a lot of those Razorback bands from the same era. They got that, that death grind thrash, combo down perfectly. That we have all grown to love from the Razorback roster, or at least those of us who do. Yeah, awesome album. They have more stuff. I don't know how many albums they have, actually. I don't think they have a large discography. I don't even know if they're still around, but I think this is their debut album. I could be wrong about that too, but it's self-titled, and it's kick-ass stuff. If you like death grind, I think you should definitely check it out. If you like any band on Razorback, records ever, definitely check it out. It'll be for you. But I have this kind of oddball in my collection. I don't have a lot of soundtrack stuff. I bought this like a year or so back from a thrift store. I still haven't listened to it. I figured it'd be, maybe it'd be something cool to listen to. The CD looks like it's probably been ran over by a couple trains. I don't even know if it plays. And I haven't even seen the movie, but I do like some of Ennio Morricone's soundtrack work, so I grabbed it. Soundtrack to a movie called The Mission with Robert De Niro and Jeremy Irons. Haven't seen the movie, haven't heard the soundtrack. I'm sure it's probably pretty cool. You know, maybe I'll get to it eventually. Maybe not ever. You never know. And the last two albums are going to be a couple gems from my one of my favorite black metal bands, along with Emperor. I mean, how can you not like the early stuff from Enslaved? So no, I don't have their debut album. I don't know why. I just never got it. I think it's fantastic. I never got around to picking it up. I've heard it probably a dozen times. I don't know why I don't have it. There's really there's no reason. There's no excuse. Someday I'm sure I'll own it. But anyways, this is a 2011 repress of their 92 demo. I love this. Is fantastic stuff. I've listened to this probably as much as any of their albums. This is about as primitive black metal sounding as Enslaved would ever get. In fact, I mean, Enslaved, they never called themselves black metal. Even from, you know, their very early days, they called themselves Viking metal. Maybe they coined the term, I don't know, but they always wanted to kind of distance themselves from the black metal scene. You know, I consider their early stuff very much black metal, but fucking Varg from Burzum, you know, does the same stuff. You know, I never played black metal. Whatever, man. You played music that sounds exactly like black metal, so the fans are going to call it black metal. So this is really, really, really cool. Like I said, if you don't really like Enslaved, if you don't like much of what you've heard from them, but you like, you know, old school raw 90s, you know, Norse black metal, you could probably get a lot of enjoyment out of this. It's, you know, way more Bathory sounding than they would ever be. But even, I mean, these guys were, when they recorded this, they were, you know, 17, 18 years old, but their musicianship was, you know, they were already skilled musicians, skilled, you know, composers, songwriters, whatever you want to call it. I mean, these guys were talented from day one. That much is obvious from this demo. Even better than the demo, though, this is kind of, I don't want to say the peak of Enslaved for me, but this is my favorite Enslaved. You know, anything they've ever done, this is what I listen to the most. Their second album, Frost, came out in '94. I think their debut came out in '94 as well. I think they put out both. You know, this and so they had two albums in the same year, pretty sure. So this originally came out on Osmos. But I think this is like a 2008 Season of Mist repress. The Osmos, the original version, I think on the cover, it either the cover said Enslaved, Frost, or it might have been a sticker that went over the case. And this had that, but fucking it broke or something, or I lost it. So you just got the cover art minus the logo and the album title. I'll show the back yet. Pretty cool stuff. Another thing Enslaved never did, as far as I know, they never wore corpse paint. Like even in there, I've seen early pictures of the band. They never did the corpse paint thing. They always did like the, you know, the Viking gear and stuff. But this is pretty cool. Yeah, classic demo, or I mean classic album. You know, Viking sounding black metal. Like I said, I don't want to say this is like the best thing they ever did. I mean, some of their albums they did after this, you know, just were amazing. Eld and Bloodhem and stuff like that, I think are fantastic. But this one, I don't know. Something about this and the debut are the most, as far as just the black metal sound. You know, those first two albums are the most black metal sounding. I think that's why I've always gravitated towards them. And I have much more Enslaved stuff. So, you know, my next video might be all Enslaved, because I don't have all their albums, but I have quite a few. I try to buy them all, you know, as they come out, and I like their newer stuff as well. I think it's cool. I don't like it. I mean, I gotta say, I don't like it as much as their early stuff, but I still like it. You know, they're you know, they're not much of a black metal band now, but like I said, they never really confirmed that they were, anyways. You know, they're more of a progressive metal you know, black metal tinged progressive metal. Fucking lights, man. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. How many times did I get up during this video to fix that? I don't know. Maybe a couple of you guys made it to the end, but this would be a perfect time for me to go. So, anyways, we'll come back. I don't know, maybe next week we'll talk about some more Enslaved. How are you guys? How's everything? Good? You're good? I'm all right. I've been better, but I'm all right. But thanks for watching. Louis says hello. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk soon. Cheers.